Number one, we cannot overstate the extraordinary talent and heroism of the United States Border Patrol and the personnel of the Department of Homeland Security that are managing through an extraordinary challenge and doing so successfully, number one. Number two, it is very important to understand that the great majority of people will be removed if they do not qualify for relief under the laws of the United States.
Thank you very much, Secretary Mayorkas. You talked about all the personnel that you're surging to the border. You didn't mention FEMA personnel, and the mayors and county judges in border towns that we've spoken to say that what they really need is not just FEMA dollars, but FEMA personnel themselves to house and feed these migrants as your department releases them. Why not send FEMA personnel to the border the way you would in any other emergency?
Well, the deployment of FEMA personnel is specific to a particular type of emergency, an emergent event. This is an ongoing challenge that, quite frankly, has vexed this country for decades because this country has been unable, Congress has been unable to pass immigration reform that everyone agrees and understands is desperately needed. We are working with an immigration system that was last reformed in the 1990s. Migration has changed dramatically since then, and we need our laws updated.
So are you saying that basically your hands are tied and you can't send FEMA personnel even if you wanted to?
No, I'm not saying that at all. And as a matter of fact, our FEMA personnel are coordinating with local communities and cities across the country to provide them with the information they need. And FEMA is going to be playing a pivotal role in our shelter and services program that is poised to distribute $363 million to cities and communities in need of funding.
I'm wondering about your communications with foreign countries. Have you had conversations in the last couple days or so with any foreign government officials ahead of this lifting?
So I should take a step back and say, when I speak of the fact that it is a regional challenge for which regional solutions are needed, let me put a finer point on that. There are approximately 20 million displaced people throughout our hemisphere. The challenge that we are encountering at our southern border is by no means unique to the southern border of the United States. And I have learned that powerfully, not only through the information and analysis that we undertake in the United States government, but in our conversations with our foreign partners. Just this week, I spoke with the Foreign Secretary of Panama. Last week, I spoke with the President of Guatemala. 3 weeks ago, I was in Panama to speak with the Panamanian Foreign Minister and the Colombian Foreign Minister. We are engaged, and of course, Secretary Blinken is leading the diplomatic engagements. Diplomacy is a key pillar of our effort.
The question is, I want to focus in on black migrants from Africa and the Caribbean nations. Nana Jumfrey, who has met with President Biden on this issue and other civil rights leaders, said that the lifting of Title 42 suppresses black asylum seekers who are required to ask for asylum in countries they transit through. Many of those countries are too dangerous for black migrants to request asylum. And she gives the example of the African Americans who traveled to Mexico. Some were killed. They were thought to be Haitian migrants. What do you say to that? And what is there an effort? And what will you do to safety net or safeguard some of these black migrants who are trying to come now for asylum, who are in countries or transiting through countries where they cannot ask for asylum through under the laws that the Biden administration has put in place?
So let me share with you one way in which migration has changed dramatically over the years. It is no longer the case that individuals can, on their own, reach the southern border of the United States. They have to place their lives and their life savings in the hands of ruthless smugglers that exploit them and ruthlessly do so. And we have not only a security obligation, but a humanitarian obligation to cut those smugglers out. And that is indeed what we are doing. And this president, President Biden, has rebuilt our refugee processing capabilities and has committed to a large number of refugee admissions to the United States. Our president, President Biden, has expanded lawful pathways for migrants like no other president past. And what we are doing is we are extending an outstretched arm of humanitarian relief to reach people where they are so they do not have to place their lives in the hands of those smuggling organizations.
But the southern border is not just Mexicans, it is Haitians, it's Africans, as we've seen, particularly with that issue with the Haitians being with their...
Well, let me just correct you right there, because actually the investigation concluded that the whipping did not occur.
I'm sorry, I saw it differently. The video or the picture was fixed, but what I saw was totally different. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you as corrected.
What happens, again, the Mexican border is not just Mexicans, it's Africans and Haitians. What is there in place, as you hear from people who are advocates for immigrants like Nana Jumphrey, to help those who are trying to seek asylum from places like Haiti that has gangs? They can't even have an election because the atrocities there are just so great.
So a few responses. Number one, we have set up the CBP One app to enable people to make appointments and arrive at ports of entry safely if they qualify for exceptions under the Public Health Authority of Title 42, which of course is set to expire at 11:59 p.m. We have admitted approximately 740 people through that CBP One app per day. The majority of the individuals admitted have been Haitian. We are expanding that CBP One app to reach as many as 1,000 people a day. And we are setting up regional processing centers throughout the region, working very closely with countries to the south, working with Colombia and others, and we expect to set up as many as 100 or more of those processing centers that will be open to people of all nationalities to obtain humanitarian relief.
Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here.